The Medmont Meridia Vantage comes in two scleral capture modes. One is based on a single shot capture, and the other is based on a multiple capture composite topography. This video will focus on the single topography capture option. The Medmont Meridia Vantage uses profilometry to capture the cornea, limbus, and sclera all in one single image. Using the reflection off of fluorescein dye allows the instrument to collect data across the entire ocular surface. To collect a scleral map, let's start by clicking Home, then New to create our patient. We'll enter in the data, then click on Corneal Topographer. This will bring up the testing window with the many options for capture the Medmont Meridia Vantage provides. But let's click on Sclera on Fluorescein. This brings up your test window. To orient you, on the left you have your live window to capture your scleral topography. On the right, you have the analysis of the topographies that you've collected. Let's start by instilling fluorescein dye in order for us to reflect off cornea, limbus, and sclera. It's highly recommended that you use an artificial tear to wet the strip, which provides a much better illumination off the ocular surface. To take a capture, the first step is to align the optical axis of the instrument to the patient's line of sight. Using the joystick, best center the yellow crosshair to the reflection off the central cornea, off the Placido reflection. If we zoom in, it might be easier to see. You have your optical axis, the yellow cross, which we are going to line up over the reflection of the Placido rings off the eye surface. In this example, we can see we've moved the yellow crosshair over the Placido reflection, creating an optimal centration of the instrument to the patient's optical axis. If we zoom in, we can see this a little clearer, where the yellow cross lines up over the Placido reflection. It is not critically important to line up the optical axis and visual axis perfectly. The idea is to be close. The better centered the instrument is to the visible iris of the patient, the better centered your topography analysis will be for your scleral capture. The next step is to center the alignment indicators, or otherwise known as the fiducials, within the alignment circles of the capture window. Capturing the fiducials within the circle will help the instrument to create an accurate determination of the scleral shape and elevation. This is an example of how the capture might look. We center the crosshair to the Placido reflection and have the fiducials line up with the alignment circles. When we're happy with the alignment, we can capture the image by clicking the button on the joystick or the circle button on the base of the instrument. One of our capture considerations, of course, is fissure size, having the patient open up as wide as possible to allow for the imaging across the ocular surface. Lid manipulation of the upper and lower lids may be necessary to optimize the surface area of coverage, especially at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. When taking your capture, avoid crossing the lines. The instrument needs to individually see each line on its own. Similarly, avoid having the lines too far apart, which would cause us to miss data collection. Ideally, have the lines running close to each other, running parallel, but not touching. The Medmont software will provide an analysis of your capture. You'll notice the yellow highlight across each line, indicating that data was collected all the way across the open fissure. In this case, we see the yellow lines running parallel to each other. They're continuous from top to bottom, and the coverage indicator shows us green over the vast majority of the surface captured. In this case, we can see some of the lines have distorted or they've disappeared. And on the coverage indicator, we can see red where the reflection isn't ideal. The software shows green for where your reflection is optimal, yellow where it's suspect, red where it's poor. This provides a live and immediate indicator of when you should retake captures on a patient. In this case, we can see parallel lines running from top to bottom, and we can see green across the vast majority of the surface, indicating both good coverage and good reflection. For more information on the Medmont Meridia Vantage capture or the instrument itself, contact your authorized Medmont distributor.